Hello and welcome everyone to the Tower Project. Boy, do I have a treat for you guys today. So here we are in a 1v2 siege battle. I am personally commanding the Holy Roman Empire, defending this castle, and attacking me are two massive armies. We have the Papal States, commanded by Twister. You can see his advanced cavalry force going out to deal with my Serpentine, which I moved out immediately upon the start of the battle. And you can see the majority of his army back here. Now that original Serpentine shot that we saw fire was a beautiful shot. Took out one of his culverines and a general's bodyguard. So in that one shot, we essentially halved the Papal States' ability to attack our castle. So here's the first army, commanded again by Twister. And you'll see his army composition on the screen. Let's go ahead and zoom over here to France. France, attacking the southwestern portion of the castle, is commanded by none other than Some Squids. Not some octopusi, not some octopuses, some Squids. Actually, Squids is a really good player, and Twister is a good player as well. So I'm being attacked by two very competent attackers here. And you can see that Squids has formed an excellent tower castle here with some rams guarding the rear of his siege tower fort. Of course, that's done to protect his troops from artillery and archer fire from the defense side. I'll go ahead and put his army on the screen here as well. Let's run into the inside of the castle here. And you can see my army is split up pretty evenly into two halves. The first half defending the north part of the castle here against the Papal States. Got Pavis crossbowmen positioned on the walls, perfect angles to shoot down into those gaps. General's bodyguard out here, some Lanchneck pikemen protecting the Serpentine, and over here on the second half, more Pavis crossbowmen, a broken down wall, and knights guarding the base. You can see I have my cavalry back here kind of in a support position where they're on the second inside layer of my castle. The reason I do that is so that way while he's attacking my knights, and you'll see this during the video, while he's fighting with my infantry, I can use my cavalry to harass the flanks of those breaches. And it's a really effective tactic for flanking and for getting those heavy infantry units to rout. Let me go ahead and speed it up here now that we've covered the armies. We are up to normal game speed. Now, as you'll see here, the Papal States had brought up an advanced position of feudal knights. He brought 2 units of them, had advanced to put pressure on my Serpentine. Unfortunately, he brought them a little too close, and my towers got some really nice shots on them. You can see here I brought the 2 Lanchneck pikemen out to screen out any cavalry, allowing my Serpentine to fire at will there. Now, here's a really good play from Twister. He's sending up a unit of Pavis crossbowmen, and with that, if I let him do what he's trying to do, he'd be able to shoot my Lanchneck pikes and my Serpentine very effectively. And so, as soon as I see this here, I'm going to start withdrawing my Lanchneck pikemen and my Serpentine back. You'll see I'm sending my general's bodyguard around for a screen to help make sure that that organized withdrawal goes properly. I want to talk for a moment here while we got some time while the battle's going on about why I have my broken wall. About why I have my Pavis crossbowmen where I have them. Now, with the exception of this lovely tree here, looks like some sort of a Douglas fir, maybe a pine tree. I'm assuming we are somewhere in the north of Europe, just judging by the architecture of the houses and the specification of the arboriculture that is within this settlement. Namely, this tree right here. With the exception of that tree, you can see these Pavis crossbowmen have a perfect angle at attacking both of these breaches. Same deal with this Pavis crossbowman up here on the wall. One of the very common mistakes that a lot of players will make is instead of putting their Pavis crossbowmen facing inward of the castle, they'll put them in a long, thin line along the crenellations of the wall here facing the outside of the castle. trying to shoot attackers as they advance. Well, the issue with that is these crenellations. Ooh, we've got some battle going on, changing the music. Oh, yes, some elite microplay by myself, dodging out these feudal knights. You'll notice I was able to snag one of them back here and was able to get all of my general's bodyguard, all 16 of them away without losing a model. So back to what we were talking about. A lot of players will thinly spread their Pavis crossbowmen, their longbowmen, archers, whatever defensive ranged unit they happen to bring. Will spread them very thinly across these crenellations on top of the wall. The issue with that is these crenellations do exactly what they're supposed to do. The game works too well for its own good. They block the line of sight and the angle of your archers. So by the time you get them all spread out here, immediately you're losing half of your shots because half of the units are obstructed by these and they have to arc way over and come down. Oh, saw a cannonball fly through right there. The other issue with that strategy is once units get close to a wall here, you have to arc so high it's not even worth shooting at them. But when you put your units here, number one, they're not on these sections of the walls that can be destroyed. These archers can't be killed by cannon fire unless one just comes perfectly through here. But this section of the wall here can't be destroyed. Neither can that one, nor can any of the ones that I have my Pavis crossbowmen on. But I have them facing inside right now. Now, I know the individual men are facing the other way, but I have them facing inside the castle, so that as soon as the French cowards come through these breaches here, they are going to get absolutely shredded by those Pavis crossbowmen. And you'll see if we run over here to the other side. Sorry, the frames are a little choppy. There's nothing I can do about that. That's the way the game works with the replays when the cannons are destroying the walls. It puts a lot of stress on the game itself, and so even if I had a supercomputer, we would still be getting some choppy frames when those walls are being destroyed. But you can see right now, perfect frame rate, everything looking real smooth, but as soon as one of those walls start to crumble, you're going to see a drop in the frame rate. Again, that's the game. There's nothing I can personally do about that. But Medieval 2 is still an incredibly beautiful game, runs super smoothly. A little bit of choppiness from an old game certainly can be excused. But you can see this unit I've angled a little bit differently. They're still angled on the inside, but there's a slight convocation, a slight conular shape there to the crossbowmen. That's to allow even more of them to be able to fire right through that gap right there. That's exactly what we're going for. And you can see, unit on this side, perfect straight angle right across to that gap. Now, I'm actually moving these guys here, and I shouldn't be. But at this point, I thought the entire Papal States army was going to come through this gap. He actually begins to open this one up as well. So later on, I'm going to bring him back over to this side. As far as the cavalry portion of my army, you can see... zoomed in a little too far. This is my actual general's general bodyguard. There you can see the imperial leader himself there. And accompanying him, I have the famed Reiters. Of course, just being German for rider there. But they are pistol cavalry that also wield spears, so they can do tremendous morale harm with those pistols. And the really nice thing about riders, I'll try to show you a clip here when we get into the action. But because the men are elevated on the horses like they are, they're actually able to fire over the top of my men. Now you can see here, I totally missed this part. I brought my Serpentine all the way over from that gate, around and over here to start firing at the French. And I'm going to start opening up a small mistake that the French made. He made this beautiful siege tower castle and then left a bunch of guys on the outside. So I'm going to take as much advantage of that as I can, and I'm going to let my Serpentine open up on these exposed units here and start to build some value percentage killed wise for me. I believe right now we are still at, we have killed 2% of the enemy. And there you go. We saw a miss right there. Let's see if the other one can hit. Well, something hit the wall there. Those wall cutscenes are awesome, aren't they? Alright, come on, Serpentine. Let's see, are they about to fire here? Oop, I just saw a cannonball move in. Oh, that was from their Basilisk, not from my Serpentine. Alright, guys, come on. I need some value generation going on here. Alright, fire one, fire two. Bam. Let's see if we get any good hits. Ooh, beautiful hit on that general's bodyguard there. Rips through right into the pike militia. Beautiful shot. Let's run over here and check on the Papal States. Here you can see more of his feudal knights getting shot by those towers. And these are level 1 towers. But because he's running so close to them, he's taking quite a bit of casualties. Well, we have a little lull in the action here. I'm going to go ahead and speed the video up a little bit for you guys. And we're just going to take some nice close looks at the Papal army here. So I'll just kind of zoom through right here. You can see Pavis crossbowmen, and then you can see at the front here some Papal Guard. These are, if I recall correctly, stat-wise the best dismounted, well, dismounted spearmen. All spearmen are dismounted, aren't they? The best foot spearmen in the game. However, in melee against sword-wielding units like those feudal, well, actually these are men-at-arms, like these feudal knights back here, that unit of feudal knights would completely destroy the Papal Guard in vanilla. Foot spearmen are just not that great in vanilla when it comes to fighting other infantry. Let's see if we can't get a nice, you can see Great Cross here, see if we can't get a nice aerial view of the Papal army while we have the game sped up a little bit. And just, let's see if we can't get a good perspective. The cannon's not going to be firing there. That's not going to help too much. Let's run over to the French side, see if we can't get some better shots over there for you guys. Beautiful mountain scenery in the back there. Horizon blued out by the sun coming through. That's a really cool visual effect you wouldn't expect from a 2006 game. I mean, look at that beautiful cinematic landscape shot right there. You can see the sun there in the sky, top of the screen there. And this hill kind of flows down into a nice little forested meadow there. Real beautiful scenery on the Medieval 2 battlefield here as this chaotic and destructive siege is going on. French army moving forward. And another crumbled wall. Let's go ahead and slow it down here while the Frenchmen move up. You can see Serpentine's getting a lot of good kills there. Getting a lot of good value back here. And as they're advancing, we've killed 5% of their army. Now, what you're going to see here shortly, this general's bodyguard unit, I'm going to send around through this gap, and I'm going to harass the flank of the French army. Just letting them move up here a little bit on double speed. And as soon as they get up here, you can see I've moved my Serpentine back there a little bit. Pavis crossbowmen starting to fire. Let's see if we get any good shots here. I think I'm shooting at that unit back there, but they get a little... Oh, got a couple of good shots through there. See if we get any kills. Look at that. Got 3 of them in that first volley. Good shooting, Pavis crossbowmen. You'll see I'm starting to reposition my knights to get them to make the angles of the crossbowmen harder to hit. I didn't do it quite perfectly there, so you can see I'm still losing a couple guys, but I am making it a lot harder for them. This unit really... Both of these units here really need to move, or they're going to get shredded by those crossbows. Real good move by Squids doing that. You'll see a lot of the good players online will use this tactic. They'll send up their crossbowmen supported by some infantry, and they'll just start shooting through these gaps at the infantry defending that wall. Really good tactic. If you don't do that, usually your Pavis crossbowmen are just sitting back here not doing anything, or your longbows or whatever ranged unit you bring. So very good tactic. Really puts a lot of pressure on the defenders. However, Holy Roman Empire cavalry coming in to attack the crossbowmen. They don't get a good charge bonus, but as you'll see, they are going to be able to cut these crossbowmen down pretty effectively. They get into the middle there and they just start cleaning them up. Already down to 15 men from a full unit. Religious fanatics coming in to screen out the cavalry and going to pull them out. Now, as much as a perfect joke as it is, those cavalry did get some very effective deep penetration into those French... I can't even say it without laughing. Deep penetration into those French crossbowmen, and were basically able to kill the entire unit. Now, you'll see a second unit religious fanatics here trying to screen my cavalry out, and these 3 generals bodyguard that are left are going to be activated to also screen out my cavalry. But here I get a beautiful charge on those religious fanatics. And you'll see I'm able to basically decimate that unit as well. French cavalry going to come in to engage in melee. Let's run over to the Papal side here, see what's going on. Papal States moved up. They lost a siege tower to my flaming tower arrows, and some other siege towers taking fire as well. Just give you a nice little cinematic view of the Papal army moving up. And here we go, cavalry engagement going on the flank. Down to, there we go, killed the last of the French cavalry. Although, look, they did put up quite a last stand, didn't they? That unit, I believe, was at 12 knights, and they got them all the way down to 5 for 3 cavalry. So 7 to 3 on the exchange there. Positive exchange for the French cavalry and French infantry moving in through the gaps. We have penetration into my castle walls. Okay, I'm done with the with the penetration vocabulary there. Pavis crossbow getting some great angles on the French knights. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to show you guys this battle is with the Lanceneck pikemen here. If you'll remember, I posted a video yesterday detailing how to use pikemen, and this battle is a perfect expose with each of these Lanceneck pike units. This one is going to show you how not to use Lanceneck pikemen, and this one is going to show you exactly how to use Lanceneck pikemen. Over there in the background, you see the Papal States starting to get through those starting to get through the breach there. Haven't come in through the other one quite yet. And Pavis crossbowmen are going to start unloading here relatively soon. Haven't quite activated them just yet. And we got some action going on here on the French side. Religious fanatics pressing through this gap here. Both Pavis crossbowmen loading up. And they're going to... Oh, look at those beautiful shots coming in. Let's check out this one. Let's see how these guys do with their angle. Riders sitting behind. That's exactly what that guy is talking about. Let's see these... Oh, beautiful shots right there into the gap. Now, you see what I'm doing with these riders? They're sitting behind my infantry line. And, of course, a ram going to break through the gates here by the Papal States. But look, the riders are slightly elevated, so they can shoot over the heads of my guys and shoot these guys back here. You see, just that rider fire right there is making these feudal knights waver. That's how powerful they were. And then as soon as that effect wore off, you saw they went right back to eager. Let's run over to the Papal side again here. Got some penetration on this flank as well. Peasants running in through the gate. How are these guys doing? Lanceneck pikemen moving up there. We were able to beat that unit of feudal knights. And they're getting shot in the back even as they run away. Get a nice shot of this melee going on here. Imperial Knights versus feudal knights. Are these crossbowmen going to start firing in? Not quite. Let's run back over to the French side. Riders coming back to do some more routing work. Oh, look at that. Look at those religious fanatics just got butchered by the crossbows. General getting into combat, attacking the flank of these feudal knights, already down to 17 men. Riders doing a beautiful job attacking the morale of these French infantrymen. Pavis crossbowmen getting some beautiful angles there on the fire. How about these guys over here? Oh, look at beautiful shots going off there. Right down into the flanks of those Papal infantry. And here we go. We got the gap plugged on the Papal side by the Papal Guard themselves, backed up with about a half-strength unit of feudal knights, and another unit of Papal Guard sitting right behind them.
The enemy has lost half his army.
And looks like one of the attackers have lost half of their army. Let's grab another cinematic shot of these Pavis crossbowmen here. Look at those shots pouring in. Oh, they are decimating those feudal knights. Those are chivalric knights, actually. Decimating those chivalric knights. And here we go. Riders coming into the back of the pike militia. Let's see what they can do. And look at that. They're wavering. And there they go. They are broken. Riders using those beautiful spears to cut through those pikes. And now I'm going to run them back around so they can be utilized elsewhere. Here we go, Lanceneck pikemen. Look at that pike formation that they're using. Beautiful pushing with those pikes. Look at the value that they're going to generate being able to stab right through those Papal Guard. We'll come back and revisit this shortly as they begin to punch through that Papal Guard unit. Now, over here you can see how they oughtn't to be used. Beautiful polar opposites, so close to each other. Here you can see them getting cut to pieces by these feudal knights because I haven't used the backspace attack tactic like I showed you guys in that last video. So they've dropped their pikes, their swords are out, and they're getting destroyed. Over here, though, great success routing some Papal men-at-arms there and attacking the Papal Guard here, holding that gap. Now, if he had put these guys into Shiltron there in the gap, they probably would have held for a really long time. But it does not appear like they are in Shiltron formation. Let's run over here briefly. Crossbowman still getting good shots over there. Let's take a look at the front lines of this gap here. Papal Guard fighting furiously. Riders over there in the background. Feudal Knights coming in from the Papal States through the gate, and they're attacking my riders. But General's bodyguard going to turn around and attack these Feudal Knights very shortly. Look at this, Lance-Neck Pikemen reforming, putting the pike wall down, and now they are charging, thrusting valiantly through these Papal Guard. General's bodyguard over here routing the men-at-arms. They're wavering down to 25 men, 24. Riders fighting valiantly against the Feudal Knights, but look at the power of those Lance-Neck Pikemen. Look at how far they pushed them back. They were out to here before, and they're getting shredded. Look, the Feudal Knights are shaken by the pikemen. Papal Guard are shaken. Do you know how much morale Papal Guard have? They have one of the highest morales in the game, and the Lance-Neck Pikemen made them shaken, and look, they're down to 18 men. They got destroyed by those Lance-Neck Pikemen. General's bodyguard now coming around, hitting the Feudal Knights in the flank there. Let's run over to the French side, see what's going on there. French army starting to break through on the gap on my side. Starting to punch through. Only a couple units holding them back, but crossbowmen getting beautiful aerial support fire. Oh, look at those shots. Beautiful. You saw a couple guys fall right there. Let's see how this unit's doing. You see how effective these Pavis crossbow shots are? Oh, look at that angle. Oh, look at all the dead Frenchmen. It's so glorious. They are pincered right here, getting shot by both crossbow units. Beautiful crossbow placement on top of those walls. Ooh, Papal General coming in, fighting the Lance-Neck Pikemen. That's no bueno. Never a good idea to hit pikemen from the front with cavalry. Here's another kind of mistake on the Papal end. He's got his Pavis crossbowmen sitting right here, not doing anything, just getting shot by these towers. And there goes the Papal General. Cut down by the sword of the Lance-Neck Pikemen. But look at this on this side. France breaking through, pushing towards the center.
This battle seems to be creeping in our favor.
Pavis crossbowmen thinning out the numbers as they move. And here's the French general himself, walking quite majestically through the streets among his dead comrades here. And just look at all these dead French soldiers in the gaps. There's a couple Imperial soldiers mixed in. Oh, look at all those dead Frenchmen, though. Look at all of them. And all the dead religious fanatics. Man, a lot of butchering going on that French flank. Ooh, riders here getting good charge on these archers. They're able to rout one of the crossbow units, starting to inflict some heavy casualties there. Chivalric Knights coming in. And I got one unit of Knights I was able to send back here to hold this flank, fighting against the French archers. And here we go. Oh, Great Cross is it abandoned yet? The Great Cross is running away. Look at that. The Great Cross unit is running away from the cross there in the foreground. The Imperial Knights, looks like the Imperial Knights must have beaten them there. Are there any dead cross guard here? Let's see if we can find any. I'm not seeing any. There's a lot of dead Papal Guard, though. And you can see just the piles of dead here on the Papal Guard northern section, on the Papal States section of my castle. Look at that breach, just a total massacre. And as we're approaching the end of the battle here, you can see the balance of power has swung tremendously in my favor after how much of a butchering went on at both of these sides. But as you can see, a lot of good moves from those attacking players. They certainly didn't make it easy on me. Really worked well together to stretch the micro. If anything, probably the thing that changed the game was the fact that the Serpentine was killed so early on. But look, I'm being aggressive against the Papal States now, taking the fight to the Pope. Able to clean up the remnants of the Papal army outside of the castle wall. And you can see I've got overwatch fire from my knights there fighting in the streets. Oh, and a beautiful play by the riders. Getting the riders to sit there and shoot them in the back. You can see the morale tanking for the Frenchmen, even though the general himself is there fighting with them. Let's just allow this battle to commence here in some beautiful cinematic glory. We'll watch it from the general's perspective here, actually. Here from the French general perspective himself. Oh, he kills one of my Imperial Knights. Look at that. Stabbed him in the back like any good Frenchman would do. Can't win in a straight-up fight, so of course he had to stab him in the back. But look, the French archer's starting to rout, getting sniped by the crossbowman and the knight right next to him. He's going to try to fight. He swings. Oh, he takes a hit from the mace. Takes it. Oh, it's a parry. Wait, he's running? The French general is running like a coward. The French general flees. He's turned and ran away like a coward. Look at the Lanzknecht pikemen valiantly chasing him. And a beautiful victory for the Imperial armies here. Now, I want to show you one thing as we dissect this replay script here. Let's look at the statistics. Now, I said one of the reasons I wanted to show this to you, I know it wasn't necessarily the closest battle, but there was a lot of good strategies that you could see in there. You saw the siege tower fort, you saw the counter arty with the serpentine at the beginning, Pavis crossbow positions, using cavalry as a defender properly, and you saw the French pushing up using their crossbows well. You saw the Papal States using the siege towers, pushing up, protecting their men. Good tactics by both sides using the crossbows to screen out my serpentine. Very good play and counterplay by my two opponents. But I did want to show you here, look at these Lanzknecht pikemen. This top one here is the one that didn't get used properly. 56 casualties sustained, 13 inflicted. So it only killed 13 men. That's how most people end up seeing their pikemen work. They can't get them in the spear wall, they don't do very much, and they just die in droves. But look at the second unit where I used the backspace attack tactic to get them to go into spear wall and push forward, thrusting with those pikes. 22 casualties sustained, 40 casualties inflicted. Keep in mind, that was against Papal Guard and Feudal Knights, both vastly superior units than Lanzknecht pikemen and both vastly more expensive. So you can see the incredible amount of value you can generate using that tactic, as you can see portrayed here in this battle. A lot of other units doing really well. Just to give a couple highlights, General's Bodyguard getting 70, 109 kills respectively. Riders doing good, 60 kills. Serpentine getting 80. 126 kills on a Pavis crossbowman, 96 on another. Very good numbers on the Pavis. And coming down here, each of these Imperial Knights getting 50, 86, almost all of them getting about 80 kills. That's basically 2 to 1 men for those Imperial Knights. Each unit has 48 men, so that basically means each of those Imperial Knights units killed almost 2 full units, respectively. So, very good statistics, very good strategical play from both sides, very entertaining battle, good cinematography. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this journey through this battle and watching this battle with me. Well, thank you all so much again for watching the content here at the Tower Project. We do honestly appreciate your guys' view, your like, your subscription, and we'd really appreciate any comments, any feedback you guys have. Please put them down below in the comments section. Great games to my opponents, Twister and Some Squids. Very good tactics played on both sides. Well, stay tuned to the Tower Project, guys. Tomorrow we'll be coming out with another of our expert guide videos. I'm not going to quite reveal what it is just yet, but certainly appreciate you guys checking it out, giving it a watch, giving it a like. I think you'll really enjoy and maybe even learn a few things from that video. So I'll see you guys with that video tomorrow, but until that happens, I will see you all on the Tower Project.